please hit that subscribe button.
Hey everybody.
Better suited to win the Stanley Cup this season. If you are new to the channel, Washington Capitals, the Boston Bruins.
Locked on and he scored! And we're live. Hey everybody. We are down to 16 teams now in the Stanley Cup playoffs here in 2020. We are past the qualifying round. And once again, I will be previewing every single series in this round, as I will be throughout the playoffs. Today, we're going to talk about the 3-seed Dallas Stars versus the 6-seed Calgary Flames in the Western Conference. Before I begin, I just ask that you please hit that subscribe button if you're new, and give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already, as those likes really go a long way in helping the channel. But let's get into it here, looking at this matchup, 3 versus 6 out west. Starting with the Dallas Stars, who are the 3 seed, finished this season with a 37-24-8 record. Good enough for 82 points. They were the 4 seed heading into the round robin. They were able to move up 1 spot into the 3rd seed. They went 1-2 in the round robin, and will now face Calgary in the first round of the traditional playoffs. They struggled offensively this year, and this has been a big problem for them all year long, only scoring 2.58 goals for per game, which is 26 in the NHL. And scoring was an issue for them again in the round robin, so this is something that this team just isn't a high-scoring team. They don't score a lot of goals. Where they do excel, however, is on the defensive end of the ice, where they only gave up 2.52 goals against per game this year, which was second best in the NHL. So obviously this team near the bottom of the league offensively, but near the very top of the league defensively. That's how they win games. Their power play operated at 21.1% this season, good for 13th in the league. So for a team that doesn't score a lot, their power play is actually pretty good and in the top half of the league. And their penalty kill was kind of surprisingly not that great this season. 79.7% on the PK, 17th in the NHL. So it's kind of flip-flopped on special teams from compared to how they are 5-on-5, where 5-on-5 they really struggle offensively and are a great defensive team, but when you get to special teams, it's actually their power play that's good and their penalty kill that struggles. Their leading goal scorer this year was actually Denis Gurianov. Had his first 20-goal season in the NHL with 20 goals this year, and he was the only Stars player to reach the 20-goal plateau this season. Tyler Seguin led the team in points. 50 points on the season for Seguin. Definitely a down year offensively for him, but still good enough to lead this team on a team overall that did not score a lot this season. And their leading penalty minute getter was Corey Perry with 70 penalty minutes on the year. No real surprise there, given the way that Perry plays the game. Now let's move on and talk about Calgary. So Calgary, they went 36-27-7 on the season, good enough for 79 points in the Western Conference, and they are coming off a 3-1 series win over the Winnipeg Jets in the qualifying round. They scored 2.91 goals for per game this season, which was 20th in the NHL, so slightly better offensively than the Stars. But not as good defensively, as they gave up 3.06 goals against per game in the league, which was 16th in the NHL, so right around mid-pack there defensively. Their power play, very similar to Dallas's, 21.2% on the power play, and that was 12th in the league, 1 spot ahead of where Dallas was. But their penalty kill, significantly better than Dallas's, 82.1% on the PK, which was 8th in the NHL. So they had a top 10 penalty kill unit in Calgary this season. Their leading goal scorer on the year was Elias Lindholm, who scored 29 goals. Their leading point scorer was Matthew Tkachuk with 61 points on the season. Another solid year for Matthew Tkachuk, and he also, unsurprisingly, led the team in penalty minutes as well, with 74 penalty minutes on the season. So Tkachuk, obviously, a very physical player, but also a very good player, as he led the team not only in points, but also in penalty minutes. So this is a really interesting matchup between these two teams. What we know about Dallas is that they really struggle offensively. They have all season long, but they have absolutely spectacular defense, and they have had spectacular defense, all season. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league. Calgary, it's been a very inconsistent year for the Calgary Flames. Sometimes they look like a top team in the West, and then other times they look like they shouldn't even be a playoff team, and it seems like they go through stretches of one or the other pretty often, and just struggle to find any sort of consistency. What I will say is that they played well against Winnipeg in the qualifying round, and that is a very good sign for them going forward. And they were able to knock off a very tough opponent in the Winnipeg Jets. Dallas continued to not be able to score a lot of goals. They were able to win one round robin game, but that was it. This is a team that, offensively, it's going to be the big issue. It's, can they score enough goals to move on, or are they just going to get shut out and end up losing, just because they're not able to score enough. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. As far as predictions go, and as far as my prediction for this series in this round, I am going to go with the Calgary Flames. I think, given what I saw when they were playing in the qualifying round, I think Calgary can win this series. I still have huge questions about Dallas's offense and their goal scoring ability. It was a problem all year long, and then they go into the round robin and nothing's changed. It's the same group, and they still struggle to score. I don't think Dallas can score enough to advance through a playoff series. I really don't. I think Calgary is going to surprise people and take this one, and I have the 6 seed Flames moving on over the Dallas Stars. Obviously, predictions. My predictions for the play-in rounds were pretty bad. Overall, I got a lot wrong, and there's really no predicting the NHL playoffs. As we just saw in these qualifiers, literally anything can happen. We just saw the Oilers and Penguins get knocked out by 12 seeds as number 5s in the same, at the same time in 4 games. So there's no predicting the NHL playoffs. It's an incredibly difficult thing to do, but I think Calgary is gonna take this series, and I think just the lack of offense is going to come back and bite Dallas. For Dallas to win this series, they need pretty much every game to be either like 1-0 or 2-1. If there's more scoring than that, Dallas isn't going to win. It's just they don't have the firepower offensively, and I mean Jamie Benn has taken huge decline offensively. Tyler Seguin only had 50 points this year. Their leading goal scorer only had 20 goals this season. He was the only one on the team to reach 20 goals this season. I think Dallas's lack of scoring is going to come back and bite them. And unless they can keep every game down to, at least 2-1 or 3-2, if it gets any more than that, they're just not going to be able to win. So I'm picking Calgary, but it's going to be a fun series. It's going to, I think, be a really interesting series to watch and see how these two teams play. But Calgary impressed me with their win over Winnipeg in the qualifiers, and I think that's kind of some momentum that they can ride and win this series as well. But with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.